Steiny! Hey y'all, welcome back. So as many of you may or may not know, Rogue is as much a ability and utility game as it is a gunplay game. Each of the rogues is equipped with their own unique ability and passive ability that help their team gain advanced position and eliminate enemies. So today we're going to talk about one of those abilities in particular with the Ballistic Knife of Ronin. So let's just start with a little bit of background about Ronin's Ballistic Knife. Her Ballistic Knife is a wieldable, throwable weapon that can be used at short range, long range, and in several different scenarios that I'll go through today. When thrown, Ronin's Ballistic Knife has a 3-second detonation time. After 3 seconds, the Ballistic Knife will become armed, which means it will detonate when any enemy gets nearby. This is great for setting traps, pinch points, or downing enemies around corners. To start, I'm going to go through the most obvious utility of Ronin's Ballistic Knife, which is downing enemies by throwing the knife and hitting your enemy directly as opposed to throwing your knife on a object or on the ground nearby your enemy. This is great for when multiple enemies are pushing you simultaneously and you need a quick down. It can also be used for pushing enemies out of corner positions that you need to take advantage of. You'll want to operate the throwing mechanism the same way that you would for cooking a grenade or throwing a melee weapon. For this, I recommend having quick cast on. Having quick cast on will enable you to cock back your kunai ready to throw, waiting for an enemy to come around the corner. This being a third-person tactical shooter, angle peeking is extremely useful to get the most out of your ballistic knife. As I alluded to earlier, the second useful scenario for Ronin's Ballistic Knife is downing enemies around corners. There are several maps that have certain pinch or choke points where defending or attacking enemies like to sit in position. If you know these enemies are there, using information from your teammates or other rogues on your team such as Talon Dart or Dallas's reveal ability, you can simply throw your knife. As soon as it lands, you can shoot it. There's no need to wait for the arm time if you shoot the explosive. As an extension of the downing enemy around corner utility of Ronin's Ballistic Knife, there's additional ways that you can use Ronin's Ballistic Knife to take position or set a trap for your enemies. This is particularly useful for area control on defense as well as offense. It's good for pushing enemies out of cover, and it's also good for putting your Ronin knife on the bomb after you've planted. However, it's worth noting that higher skilled players will know this technique and can easily defend against it. I have a couple of last parting tips that I want to share with you guys about Ronin's Ballistic Knife. First around counters to Ronin's knife, and the second around particular placement of Ronin's Ballistic Knife on doorways or entryways. So while Ronin's knife provides a great attacking utility, it can also be used against her. Let's take a look at a couple of clips where I've exploited Ronin's weakness of putting her ballistic knife too far away and attempting to recover it. The second quick tip I want to leave you guys with is about placement of your kunai when you're setting a trap. Too frequently I see players throwing their kunai to the left or the right side of a door or an entryway. Let's take a look at this video where I'm going to explain to you why that's not optimal placement and why it's easy to defend against. So ideal entryway placement for your ballistic knife is going to be top center, right above any entryway or doorway. If you plant to the left or the right with your ballistic knife, it's a lot easier for enemies to shoot when they may be passing through. If you place it in the center, they don't have an angle to shoot your ballistic knife out. This can be used defensively on multiple hallways, as we see here. If you place the knife right above this entryway on Skyfell, you can't actually shoot the knife until you're right up under it, so much better, much more effective. If you have any feedback, comments, suggestions, feel free to send me a message or provide those in the comments. Follow me on Twitch @Steiny or on Twitter @SteinyTwitch. See you next time.